Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and show my screen, and I'll go ahead and turn on my camera. So just so you know, if you want to see my presentation, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the little icon of the people in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to show you my screen, show you what it looks like. And you see there's me. You don't want to see me right now. Actually, I'm going to be showing you a presentation, and I'm going to be presenting mostly from my screen today. And just below it says, Laurie Roberts, your presentation. Well, it's not going to say your presentation, it's mine. But you're going to click on that, and you're going to click on the little pin. I know that, whoops, that did weird things. Hold on. Okay, so let me go to my presentation here. Woo, psychedelic. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go to, there we go. Phew. Okay. So today, I know that the schedule said it's Google Docs and Google Slides, but in all honesty, you can't understand Google Docs and Google Slides unless you understand Google Drive. Because you can be making stuff and you don't know where it went. And what we're trying to do is get people to move over from Microsoft and start using Google Drive instead. And I will explain that in a little bit, a little more. We have the lovely Cicely Day with us here. She's going to be moderating the chat for me when I cannot be doing it because I'll be presenting. So this is, I'm just going to be real clear. This is basics. Okay. And like I said, you can't really understand Google Docs and Google Slides without really understanding Google Drive. Now, before you leave, because you're like, no, I got this, there might be some things that you learned from this. So I just ask you to keep us on in the background. There might be something that you get from this, because what I'm finding is there are, everyone's got, different spaces that they missed in terms of knowing about things like Google. So down below, bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see the bit.ly. That is for this presentation. What I'm going to be doing most of the time, though, is demonstrating a lot of these things. So you're going to be seeing my screen. You won't necessarily be seeing this presentation because what I'm trying to do is give you the demo. What you can do, though, later is go through this presentation and you can practice while using this presentation. I'm basically going through the presentation. I'm not having you do any do-nows because I find that people get a little bit lost sometimes with their tabs. So I'd rather you just keep this on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just want to show you really quickly, for those of you who haven't yet been in a Google Hangouts meet, that's what this is. I'm going to do a very short tour of the screen. And some of you have already seen this. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go through it again. So you're here. This is kind of what it looks like, but not really. What's important is that there's a toolbar down here. Now, if you can't see that toolbar, all you have to do is move your cursor down to the bottom of the screen or click on the middle of the screen, and the toolbar will show up. You just kind of have to move your cursor around and see what happens, but it should come up at some point. It's one of those that hides itself so that you have more screen area to see people or presentations. Okay, so on that toolbar, you have the microphone, you have the hang up, and you have the camera. So if the microphone and the camera are red, they're both off. Okay. If you click on them, that will unmute them. Okay. I also learned that Control D will unmute or mute your microphone. So that's like a microphone on off switch. So that's Control D. And I think it's Control E is actually to turn your camera off and on. So those are nice little shortcuts. Okay, so a couple other things. Up in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see all the way over to the right, you. And if your camera is on, you're going to see an itty-bitty little video of you going on. But if your camera's off, you're going to see your icon or your initial. And right next to it is the chat. You're going to click on that, and that's going to open a box on the side. And that's where you're going to be putting your questions today. And then right next to that, the little icon of the people, that's where you click to see who is in the meet. That's also where you can pin the presentation. All right, so next. So to ask a question, you're going to click on chat, which brings up a box on the side, okay? And on that box at the very bottom, there's a box for you to put in your chat, okay? So you're going to type your question into that box below, and then you're going to hit enter to send it. Or you can click on the little arrow that's next to it. That will work too. All right. So what I'd like everyone to do right now is open the chat, and I'd like you to type in your school and your grade level or subject matter if you're in secondary. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you a second to do that. Awesome. A lot of people in here. This is great. I'll give you another minute for that. We're kind of using this as a check-in, but in all honesty, it's more to count people. It's more to count people and less to like see who was there. We're trying to keep numbers, but that's been difficult too. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And what I'm going to do, just going to show you really quickly. Oh, oops, sorry, I didn't go through the norms. So please mute your mic, because if we had all of you talking at once, that's 43 people. That would be nuts. If you have a question, you're going to type it into the chat. As always, embrace the struggle, because right now the struggle is real. We're really aware of the fact that you're trying to learn all of these things right now, and trying to plan to go online after spring break. And in some cases, you're taking care of elderly parents or young children, or you're sharing your office, I'm doing air quotes, with your spouse or with your children or with your dog or your cat who always wants to sit on your lap. So we're very aware of all of these things. So we want you to embrace the struggle. We're going to do this all together. Be flexible and be good to yourself. Take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. So you got to go first. You got to be first on this one. All right. So next. So I'm not going to go through this whole presentation. Like I said, I'm going to be showing you a lot of things. There are going to be a couple of slides that I want to show you. So one of the things I want to share with you, and this is where people get a little confused sometimes, is that Chrome is a browser, okay? It was created by Google. It's the way that we get onto the web. You cannot access anything on the internet without a browser. Other kinds of browsers are Safari, which is Mac, and I don't even remember what anyway, there are others. Those are the only two I use. I actually only use Chrome. And then Google Drive is an application, and Chrome and Google Drive are both Google products. And this is why we ask you to use Chrome. So we're a completely Google Drive or Google Shop, as they call it. So we're using all the Google suite. In fact, this presentation is being done on the Google suite. So another quick note, and this is, people get very confused about that. The cloud's not a cloud. Your stuff doesn't just go up into the ether. I have actually here, if you want to look at it, there's a virtual reality tour of the Oregon Data Center. These are very big buildings with a lot of really big machines, a lot of big computers. There's also a map of the data center locations that Google has. So very simply, this is really why we want you to be using Google Drive to create all of your documents and all of your slideshows, because most people are not really good at backing things up, and Google automatically backs things up. So if that's the only reason you move over to Google, fantastic. That was a big reason why I moved over to Google, because I'm not good at backing things up. I don't remember to do that. So for instance, if you save something using Microsoft Word on your computer and something happened to your computer, it would be lost. So just consider that. This means if it's going up into the cloud, It's going to be there. Okay. It's always going to be there. And as long as you have an internet browser, you can get there. All right. So I'm going to talk about accessing files on Google. And I am going to show the next slide, because basically what Google is, it's your online filing cabinet. So consider the filing cabinet that you have in your classroom or in your home. And this is where you put files, and you put those files in folders. And sometimes you put those folders in other folders. It acts the very same way, except that it is much larger. Okay. It is not just that one right there that has everything and, all the projects that you've ever done with students. It is much bigger than that. In fact, we have totally unlimited space in every single one of our drives for WCC USD. So keep that in mind. And you can access them as long as you have internet access. Okay, we're not going to do this. Don't do this. Let me get out of here. And I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to go to my drive. Okay. So you might be wondering, how do you get to Google Drive? So there's a couple of things you can do. You can either type into the Omni box, which is at the top. You can type drive.google.com. You can use the waffle. Here's a waffle, right? You can use the waffle, those kinds of things. But I want to show you something that's really important, because a lot of times when people go to their Google Drive, they just go ahead and close it because it looks like this. A bunch of little boxes, and they may not even be in folders, but it's very confusing. And how are you going to even deal with this? So there is a button, upper left-hand corner. I'm circling it right now with my cursor. This, let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay. This switches it to list view. Now, I personally am someone who's pretty linear thinking. So I like this list view a lot better. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to show you what happens. So look at it right now. Okay. It's a bunch of little boxes. Can't make any, can't figure that one out at all. I'm going to click here, and I get a list. Much better. Makes way more sense. And that means that I can sort it in any way I want. I'm going to talk about how to do that in just a second. But if that doesn't work for you, go ahead and click here again and go back to grid view. So this is grid view, little boxes. This is list view. Okay. So I'm going to check the questions real quick. Let's see. Office space. That's hilarious. Where can you find the recorded? Well, this one it's being recorded right now, but all the recorded trainings are on the e-learning website under teachers and professional learning. And they're actually all completely updated. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? No, that looks good. Oh, thanks, Alexandra. I actually worked pretty hard on those visuals. All right, so back to the lesson. All right, so this is basically an online filing system. That's what I wanted to say. So I want to talk a little bit about the things on the left, over here on the left. These are the different kind of drives you have. Today, I'm not going to talk about priority. I'm going to try to add some things to this Google Drive when I have a minute. I don't know when that's going to be. But so you have your drive, and that's what I'm looking at right now. This is my drive. This whole thing, if I make it smaller again, this is my Google Drive. This is my stuff, okay? So what I want to explain is that in your drive, it's everything that you've created, added, or uploaded. Everything you've created, added, or uploaded. That's where that goes, okay? Shared with me, that is where everything that is shared with you goes, okay? That's files created or uploaded by other people that are shared with you. That's where they go, okay? They're in the shared with me. It's called File Make a Copy. It's probably one of the best things ever, because what that does is it creates a copy. It's a separate copy, though. It's your own copy. So if you see a lesson that someone's done on Google Slides out there on the webs, and they're allowing you to copy it, what you do is you open it, you click on File, you click on Make a Copy, and you decide, do you want it to be the entire presentation or selected slides? You click on Make a Copy, you put it in a folder, and then you can go back and make changes to it. And it's not going to hurt that person's original one, because it is your copy. Okay. So, All right, back to the drive. The other thing that if you open someone else's stuff, you can add it to your drive. But what that does is that's not something that you own, but it does live sync. So just so you know, a lot of these presentations that we're doing, I highly suggest if you want to keep it in your drive somehow, that you do add to my drive, because we are making changes to the presentation. So you would see those presentations as they come up. If you do make a copy, that's going to be your own copy and it will not update. So I hope I didn't get people confused, but that's all written out in the presentation. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about sorting. Also known as, where is it? Yes.
It stopped recording, so I pushed record. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference or not.
Yeah, it's still recording. Did it really stop?
No, I had to push record because
okay. And now we're recording. Okay, thank you. Yeah, just keep an eye on that, because that seems to be happening. It's very weird though, and I'm still trying to figure it out. It'll stop, but then it really hasn't. I don't know what's going on, but anyway.
Right, cool.
Woo! Fun. Good times. Okay. So where is it? I do have things in folders. That's why you see a whole bunch of folders. Not everyone does folders. A lot of times what people do when they open up their drive is they'll see like a document and slides and a form and different things. So I do put things in folders. You can very easily create folders by going up to new, click on new, click on folder, and then all you have to do is drag and drop things into your folder. Very simple. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, where is everything? You want to learn how to sort things. So because this is list view, you can sort by name, and then that goes alphabetical with funny little symbols before. So just so you know, that actually puts everything at the top of a list, or a pound sign will put everything up to the top of a list as well. And then the other thing is, this is actually my favorite column, because with this column, I can go ahead and sort it by last modified. So the last time it was modified at all, if it's shared with anyone, okay? Last modified by me, and then last opened by me. I personally like last opened by me. So I'm going to click, that's what it is right now. Right now it's actually, I can tell it is alphabetical by name. If I click on last opened by me and click on that again, it should switch it. There it goes. Okay. So I know that the last thing that I opened was in this folder, eLearning 2020. The other thing though, is that at the very top, there's a search bar. This is probably the most comprehensive search bar ever, and it's because it's run by Google. So, you can type in here. What's great about this, especially because you have students, is that you can type a student's name in there and it will show you every single document that the child's name shows up. Okay. So I'm going to put in Cicely because Cicely's here. There she is. Click there. Oh, whoops. That's going to tell me what's owned by her. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I'm just going to type in Cicely and a space and enter. And I'm seeing all these things that I have created or have been created that Cicely's name is included in. So there are quite a few things there. Also, though, this is, like I said, comprehensive search. If I click on this caret, this is called a caret, it gives me search options. So I can search by type, right? Look at all these different types of files that I can search by. I can search by owner. I can search by date modified. I can put in, if I think I know one of the words in the name, I can put that here. I can put, if it has certain words, and then at the bottom, I click on search and it would come up with a list. Honestly, this right here is a really good reason to start using Google Docs all the time. All right, I'm going to check the questions real quick. Oh, no, we're doing good. Okay. So what I want you to do later is go back to this presentation and practice some of the things that I have shown you. And I have it step by step. So I want to talk a little bit more about these things over on the left. There is recent, starred, and trash. You guys see those over there? So these are actually like folders. What's really cool is that if I click on recent, I'm going to see the things that I've been most recently in, okay? Or I've most recently worked with, which is great because a lot of times I'll think, oh man, what did I do with that? Let me tell you, that's happened a lot this week. So recent has helped me a lot. Also, there's starred, which I've honestly kind of stopped using, but I think it's really great. And what you would do is that creates a list. You put a star on files or folders, and it creates a separate list for them. And the way that you do that, let me just show you real quick. The way that you put a star on something. So there's no star on here. There's a star on this one. You can see it, but there's no star on eLearning 2020. Well, I'm definitely going to put a star on that. I'm going to right click on it. Gives me a whole other menu. And I'm going to click add to starred. There you go. That's a really good way of, putting the things that you use most often in. And then there's also trash. So just so you know, when you put things in the trash, they don't go away. So I like to call it limbo. It's a file and folder limbo. So if you throw something away, you can always go back into the trash and get it. It's like dumpster diving. So that's actually pretty cool. I actually like that. It's a good thing. So like I said, it's limbo though. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about uploading files and folders, and I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my presentation. But I'm going to go several over. Oops. Okay. Uploading files and folders. So I know you have a lot of stuff on your computer right now. And you may be trying to use it with Google Classroom and it's not working the way you want it to. That probably means that it's a Microsoft Word and it needs to be converted to a Google Doc. And it's easier using Google Classroom to put things from Google Drive. Okay. Bottom line, just so much easier, so much faster. So, and it also makes it so that you can do a lot more with that document. So uploading, so you'd want to upload those files, right? Uploading creates a copy of the file in Google Drive. Any type of file at all can be uploaded to Google Drive. Some file types can be converted to Google file types. So if you're wondering if you can put pictures in Google Drive, absolutely. If you're wondering if you can put videos in there, yes. Basically, Google Drive will hold on to any sort of file, any sort of file at all. You can put it in there. You may or may not be able to open it from Google Drive. You might have to have some other special software, but generally speaking, you can put anything in Google Drive that's a file, an electronic file. All right. So here's the choice, right? We've got Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint. If you put it into Google Drive and you convert, what that allows you to do then is to make changes to it within Google Drive. It allows others to edit it if you share it with them, and it allows you to collaborate. That's the bottom line. If you just put a Microsoft Word in there and you don't convert it, it's going to be exactly like a PDF. So you can turn on auto conversion. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Or, right, if you upload these things as is, they just go into your cabinet, basically. It just goes into Google Drive and it acts as a PDF. So that can be a problem if it's something that you want students to work on. You can always convert it later, just so you know. All right, so I'm going to go back to my drive and I'm going to show you this because this is important. If you want to turn on automatic conversion, you go to the gear, which is right at upper right hand corner. This is the settings gear. And then I click on settings and it's right here. It's the second question. Convert uploaded files to Google Docs editor format. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, how do I upload something? It's very simple. And what's really cool is you can upload whole folders of things, which is really great. So I'm going to click on new. Basically, if you want to put anything into Google Drive, you click on new. Okay. So I'm going to click on new and I'm going to click on folder Oh, I'm sorry, new. I'm not doing a new folder. I'm doing a folder upload. I don't think I have, let's see. Ooh, I do have folders. I have this gigantic folder, which is all videos. So I'm going to click here. And actually, I want this whole folder. So I'm going to go back. I want to make sure that it's showing. It's this one. Okay. And so I've clicked on it and I'm going to click on upload. We'll see what happens. I might break it. Ooh, I'm not going to do it right now. It says upload 56 files. So there are 56 files within that folder. I'm not going to do that right now because they're really big, but I'll do it later, I promise. So I would click on upload and then, you know, it might take a little while. This one would probably take a while and I don't want to bog down my system, but I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. So that's what happens. All right. Recording has started again. Thank you to all of you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look at some questions right now. Can pictures from our phones be put into a Google Drive, and how do we do that? Then how can we send that to our Google Classroom? That's a really good question. There's actually, depending, I think all phones have it though. There is a, let me see here. I'm going to mess with it a little bit. There's a Google Drive app for an iPhone, and I'm pretty sure there'd be one for Android. So that's the way that you would use it. There's also a way to use it with Google Photos, but Google Photos is now separate from Google Drive. Can you attach Google Docs, slides, apps to Seesaw? I believe so, John. I am not the Seesaw expert, but I'm thinking yes. The way you do it is too complicated. Okay, Cicely. If I upload documents that I share with my families on Class Dojo, should I make sure that they are not Google Docs so that the families cannot change what I have written? So that's the way, that depends on the way you share it. There are different ways to share documents. I'm going to go over that in just a second. Yeah. Oh, good, Cicely. Thank you for answering that question. Who all can access our Drive folders? You, unless you share them. You have to share them. The default is that it's private. So you have to share it. But I do have to tell you that because by law, anything that you create or put into your drive, your WCCUSD drive, is owned by WCCUSD. And that's generally because we're doing work for them right now. We're getting paid for it. So that's it. But when you retire or if you leave the district, you can take your stuff with you. Shared to district email. Okay. Can Flipgrid be attached to Google Classroom? Yes. And actually, I think we're having a Flipgrid training today. Yes, no, maybe. Yeah, there's a Flipgrid training today at 11:30. I suggest you go. It's awesome. Flipgrid is awesome. Okay. All right. So, you know what, Mina? We'll talk about force copy. Probably not going to talk about it right now or today because I'll run out of time. Force copy is like a completely different thing. Okay. Let's see. All right. So moving on. I got to find my spot again. Okay. We're going to go back to the presentation real quick just to see where we are. Okay. If you want to convert something as you go, which means you are picking and choosing which files to convert one at a time, this is basically how you do it. It's an open with sort of situation. You can tell when something is not. So actually, I will show this right now because I do have some of these files. Let me go back to Drive. So let's say you have something that someone sent you, you've uploaded it, or something someone has sent you and you've copied it, and it is Microsoft Word or it's some other sort of file type. And you can see, you know, maybe you're like, oh, I don't know if I can convert this, but I will show you. You guys are looking under the hood right now. This is where all the video stuff goes. Okay, so for instance, here we go. Here is a chat. Now, can you guys see that? And I'm going to make this bigger. Can you see that this, I know, is a Google Doc? And this is just something you're going to learn as you go. This is a Google Doc. And I look down here, and this looks real different. Not real different, but it looks different. So I know that this is not already a Google Doc. So I want to convert this one. I'm going to right click on it. And then I go to open with, and I click on Google Docs. And what happens is, it converts it to a Google Doc. It's going to take a second. I don't know why it's taking so long, but it will convert it to a Google Doc. That's basically how you convert things one by one, if that's what you decide to do. You might want to turn on that automatic conversion button. There it is. Okay. It's not pretty because it's a chat transcript, but it's definitely something that I can work with. All right. So that is conversion. Hold on a second here. Let's see if are there any photo to drive. iPhone camera has apps options when you select a photo to share, send, and one of them is drive. Thank you, Mark. Okay, let's see. So I want to talk about creating files, and I'm going to go right on back to my presentation. See, I told you I was going to go back and forth a lot today. All right. So Google Drive is really your online creation suite. Okay. It's just like the old Microsoft Office, which is still around, didn't die or anything, but it's free. And basically this is what it looks like. So Docs is Microsoft Word, right? So up at the top, I have listed the names of the Google products. At the bottom are the Microsoft products. I was kind of guessing on drawings. I think that's close to MS Paint, which is dead now. So, and then with forms, I know that there is a way to make forms in Microsoft, but I don't think it's very easy. So forms are very easy. I will say that for sure. They take a little bit of work and they take a little bit of getting used to, but you can do it. Oh, Jean, you still use Paint. Awesome. I thought it was dead, but maybe not. You should definitely try out drawings. Kim, how do you save this slideshow? So you're going to have to go to the link that I had at the beginning, and I'll show that again at the end. Cicely, maybe if you could give them, actually, maybe I should type it in. Hold on a second.
What would you want me to do?
I think it's bit.ly WCC Google Drive 101, right? Okay. So Kim, the way that you save that to your slideshow is that you copy and paste that bit.ly into a new tab, and then you're going to click on, it looks like the Google Drive symbol. It's going to be right next to the name of the file when you open it. Google Drive symbol and a plus sign. And that's how you're going to save it. All right. So that's basically, basically anything that you were doing, unless you were doing like some super duper fancy accounting type stuff, you can do it in Google. So keep that in mind, please. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. So sharing, this is super important. I think everyone needs to understand this one. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to my drive. Let me see if I can find something that is not shared. This one's not shared. Okay, this one's not shared because I'm just using this kind of as a place where I'm keeping some slides that I keep reusing. So I want to talk about sharing and the way you can share, because I think there's a lot of confusion about this. Folders can be shared, files can be shared. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to say really quickly right now, shared drives is a pain in the butt. I hate it. So for many reasons. I don't suggest using shared drives. However, if you've been invited to one and someone's using it, you should just go ahead and go with it. I don't like it. That's my personal opinion. I find it problematic. So I'm going to go back to where I was. Here I am on the welcome. Oh man, I'm in here like 2-3 times. Okay. This is not shared. How can I tell? This is default, private only to me. It's got a lock on it, right? There's a lock on the picture. You see the lock? So this is locked and it's not shared with anyone. That means that if I tried to share it, if I sent you the link, you wouldn't be able to see it and you would have to ask for access. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share this so you can see what that looks like. I'm going to click on share. Now this is all you get. There's a lot more to sharing than this. So the first thing is, remember, look for any other menus. This is a caret. That means that there are other menus. If I click here, these are the three ways that things can be, the three types of sharing there are. You can share with people so that they can edit it. So that means they have full rights, editing rights. If you give them that sharing right and then they delete it, it doesn't delete it from yours because you're the owner. Okay. So when you're the owner, then you have the bottom line. If you're not going to delete it, then, then it's going to stay. So there's can comment, which means that people are reading over your stuff and they can make comments on it that you see on the side. And then the last one is can view, which makes it very much like a PDF. So a lot of the things that we share as resources on the e-learning website are can view. So that means that you can only see them and you can't edit them and you can't comment on them either. Okay. So I kind of look at it like can edit means I want you to help me work on this. Can comment is I'm almost done. Can you just give me your feedback? And can view is I'm done right now and I actually just want to show it to you. So those are the three kind of ways of doing this. So people get confused because they're like, well, do I have to write in everyone's email address I want to share it with? I really only use this box if I'm going to give people either can edit or can comment rights. I do a lot of sharing just for view only with large groups of people. By large groups of people, I mean all of WCC USD. So let me show you how I share then. So if I click on get a shareable link, this is where all the stuff is. Okay. So right now, when I click on that, it says anyone at West Contra Costa Unified with the link can view. But guess what? There's another caret. And then there's a more. But so this is just talking about West Contra Costa. Okay. If I wanted everyone to edit it, I could use that. If I wanted everyone to comment on it, I could use that. If I just want people to view, this is what I use most often. I'm going to click on more though and show you. This is like opening it, these two here. It's like opening it up to the world. My favorite is anyone with the link. So that means that anyone who has that link can click on the link and view it. Okay. Public on the web, I don't think I ever use it. The difference between public on the web and anyone with the link is that anyone on the internet can find it and access it if it's public on the web. Now that's only to see, right? They can only view it. So if I am sharing something that parents need to see, I'm going to pick anyone with the link. Okay. So let's pretend like I'm sharing with parents, anyone with the link. And if you look down here, it says can view. I generally don't want to make it can edit because that means that they're going to have to log in even to see it. And also you don't necessarily want your stuff to get messed with. Same with can comment. They have to have a Google account for that. So I just leave it as can view. We click on save. And if I click copy link here, then I get the link and I can paste it into an email. Okay. Advanced, I'm just going to show you this really quickly. The district sent out at first when they sent out that phase 2 thing about the phase 2 part of distance learning, they had these clicked. I noticed, and I had got a lot of complaints about that, even though I wasn't the owner. But basically, it means that anyone who's an editor can't change the access and they can't add new people. And you couldn't download, print, or copy it. So that was kind of a problem for a lot of people. So they did fix that later. But just so you know, these are not checked usually. I hardly ever look at that advanced menu. So I'm going to click on done. And basically, if I just copy this and send it to you, you would be able to view this. But you don't really want to because I already gave you the information in a different one. Okay, so let me see if there are any questions. Let's see. Save me slideshow. What's so bad with shared drives? It's a real problem for me in what I do, because if people are working on something that they eventually want to share out publicly, it's very difficult. It's not as easy as if it were in a regular folder. So that's why I really don't like shared drives. Also, I really didn't feel like Google needed to give us another thing when If you just have a folder that's shared with a few people, it's kind of like a shared drive. That's my opinion. Anyway, okay. Get shared links. Okay, show how the share box has changed. No longer a lock. Oh yeah, thank you. So I don't know if you see this, guys. It's not a lock anymore, but and if I just hover over it, it'll tell me anyone with the link, right, has access and no sign in is required. That's what that says. Okay. Thank you, Dwayne, for the reminder. Okay, so moving on. And what time is it? It is 9:11. I want to leave some time for I'm giving you guys a lot of information I haven't even touched on. Okay. Oh, good. I'm almost done. Okay. So I showed you how to share. Keep all those things in mind. Always think about things like, okay, are there extra menus in here that I need to look at? But the default is that it's locked down. Okay. So one thing I do want to show you, and I think this is really cool. Let me see if I can find something. Well, this actually. No, not this. I'm going to show the support schedule. Okay. So this is something that I shared with people. I'm going to show you how I shared it. I shared it with certain people to be able to edit it. These are the people who are allowed to edit it. But I also shared it with anyone in West Contra Costa can view it. By the way, you guys, this is just a support schedule. It has nothing to do with the, with what's going on for you. So I'm just going to show you this as an example. So I'm going to click on done. So the people, oh, whoops, let me go back. The people who are listed here, and if I click here, I'll see the whole list. It's like 19 people. Okay, here's the whole list of people. The people who are here listed here are my collaborators. Okay, they're the ones who are also continuing to work on this. What's really cool is, let's say that you go in and you're all collaborating on something and you make a bunch of changes and you want to let people know, because they're not automatically, unless they have it set up, they're not automatically going to see when there are changes made. You can click on File, Email Collaborators. I love this. Honestly, if you're collaborating at all on anything, this is really helpful. You can either select all, you can select none. I do none a lot of times, and then I just click on specific people, and then I can send them an email. And what's great is it has that link to that document in the email. So it's excellent. This is a really great way to kind of shorten your work, but especially if you're collaborating, this is really useful. Okay. So let me go in. I'm just going to show you really quickly a few things. One of the things is color coding, and I don't actually cover this in the presentation, but I do want to talk about this because it will help you in terms of organizing your drive. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I don't know, there's stuff everywhere. The first thing I want to tell you is organize stuff into folders, just like you would paper. Okay, so organize things into folders. Number one, you can change the color of your folder. So I'm going to change this one. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to click on change color. And I'm going to make it red. Dun, dun, dun. Now it's red. Okay. Let's see. And I'm going to do that again. eLearning 2020. Red, right click, change color, make it red. Okay. That's not going to change anything in terms of sorting. Okay. It's eye-catching. That's it. All right, so that's something I wanted to show you. Color organized. Where was this information for the past? In my head? No, just kidding, Jean. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that kind of stuff. One thing I do want to show you though on the Google Drive basics, and I'm going to continue to work on this and add things in as I think of them. And also I'm probably going to base it on any kind of questions that you guys ask. I'll add things here. So a couple of things here. This is the last page of the presentation. These are all the help centers. These are all just links to these are all links to what the help that Google has given you. Okay. Which is awesome. There's a lot there. I put this one in yellow because that's basically the base for all of it, is the Google Teacher Center. I'm going to click on that because I really want to show it to you. You all have access to this. All you have to do, it's going to say sign in for you. But what's really cool is if you click on resources, and you scroll down and you can either search, but what I do is I search by product. And there's a whole list. So every single one of these boxes, everything here, first of all, is created by Google. But so for instance, if I have a question about Chrome, if I click on Chrome, it takes me to, first of all, there are some training lessons for you as a teacher, which is really cool. But the Help Center is great. If I click on Help Center, first of all, it has a list. If I click on these little carrots, I see the other articles. Okay. Use Chrome at home. There's only one there. But then I could, ask a question. How do I add an extension? Install and manage extensions. Oh, look, there's the answer. Thank you, Google. They've got a lot. Okay, so that's Google. That's the Help Center. Also on the Teacher Help Center, just so you know, because I'm trying to push this as much as possible. We did have a small group of teachers who went through the training and are hopefully going to take the test. If you click on training, they have fundamentals training and advanced training, and it walks you right on through. There are videos. It's excellent. And also it prepares you to take the certification test. There's level 1 and level 2. It only costs, I think, $10 to take one of the tests and $25 to take the other. If you're more interested in that, just let me know, because I can walk you through that. But also below that, there's a whole thing about first day of Google Slides. There's a whole thing about first day of Google Docs. Everyone who's been doing Classroom, there's something called first day of Classroom, first day of Forms, and it kind of walks you through basics. So again, this is under the Google Teacher Center right here, this one right here. And you do have to sign in to be able to get in there, but you just sign in with Google using your WCC USD account. Okay, I'm going to go over the questions because it's 9:18.
There is one about uploading PDs to Google Drive. I struggle with that because it turns into a hot mess for me. But that's also a question that Kim had.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you right now, if you upload a PDF to Google Drive, yeah, it'll hold it. And you'll be able to read it. You'll be able to open it. You won't be able to do anything with it. So, PDFs are great, but they're also problematic. But people make them into PDFs for a reason, because they don't want them to be changed. So there is a reason for that. But I have tried doing, and it will kind of work. You can do the upload PDF, open with Google Docs, and see what happens. And usually what happens is it brings over everything, but it's a little bit messy, but at least the text is there. So if you wanted to use the text for something else, at least you could get the text. I do have to tell you, though, that the formatting is crazy, and it might be kind of a mess, depending on how fancy the PDF was. Okay. I hope I answered that question. Let's see. Color organize. Yes. Thank you, Susan, for answering Kim's question. This is a super important idea, though, is that Google automatically saves things. So, if you're using Microsoft, you have to save things before you close them. What's really great is that every couple of seconds, Google just goes ahead and saves what you did. And that is awesome. And I love that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Chris, thank you. And Cherie, same thing, is that if you type cursor, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to type cursor in here. I'll show you guys. And I just hit enter. And what I did was I changed the pointer size so it's big, and then I changed the pointer color so that it's supposed to, if I move over something that's black, it's supposed to, oh yeah, it does that. It's supposed to turn white. It does work. Okay. Yeah, so that's on my PC. This is my laptop from work. Let's see. Share box. I already did that one. Okay. Ask your questions now, people. Hey, thanks, Demetrio. Yay, you learned something new. That's always good. So Jean, I don't know if you noticed, but we're not doing self-directed anymore. That's actually been voided because of the situation. let's see, Janet. I note that admin has a way to organize their Gmail inbox that teachers do not. No, I think you do too. Is there an easy way to, ooh, that's like a whole other thing that I'm currently working on myself because my Gmail is not in the best of shape. So I'm kind of like working on that right now. Maybe after spring break, I will have better answers for you. How do we get to the Google Teacher Center? So actually, if you you can open a new tab and you can just type in Google Teacher Center. And what I did is was I bookmarked it. You guys know how to bookmark stuff? Maybe I'll go over that real quick. Okay. So I'm going to open the site and I'm going to click on the star, and that basically bookmarks it. But one thing that you have to make sure, so here's my bookmarks bar, which I have cleaned up because so many of you have been looking at my screen and probably thinking, oh my gosh, there's a little like sideways caret here all the way over. I don't know if I can make that any bigger. I can't. Okay. I'm going to click here that, oh, whoops. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to click on the kebab. Click on the kebab and you want to go to bookmarks. And you may not have your bookmarks bar showing. You want to make sure that there's a check next to that. And then once you show your bookmarks bar, when you click on that star, it's going to just save it right there for you. Okay. Let's see. Can you maybe show how to go back to something before the last save? I absolutely can. That's a really good one right there. And I have, just to let you guys know, I have to leave right at 9:30 because Cicely, would you be able to like stick around and just make sure like the recording goes off and yeah, everyone has most of their questions answered? I am going to go back through the chat if I have to leave early and you still have questions. Okay, how to see something before the last save? Let me see. I'm just going to go to something I've been working on. I'll just go back to this welcome thing. Okay. So, is it view? I don't look at this very often. I'll be honest. Okay, now I'm going to file. Version history. This is actually really cool. If you've got a bunch of people working on something, which I don't on this one, but I hit file, version history, and I want to see the version history. So what it will do, it will tell me, like if there are a bunch of different people working in it, it will give them a different color dot. And so I would be able to click around here and see the changes that they made. Now, it's not as easy in slides. It's not as easy to find, but in docs, it's really obvious. So if a bunch of people were working in something and you wanted to go see what the last version was, you could just click. And let's say that you made some changes that you don't like now and you want to go back to the old one, you click on restore this version. I'm not going to do that right now. That's dangerous right now. There's got too much stuff going on. Okay. Did you answer Victoria's question? I was making breakfast for my family. How do we delete old files? You can put them in the trash. I'm going to show you something about trash though. Like I said, trash is limbo. So there are things that you put in the trash. They've been deleted from your drive, but guess what? They're still there. So the way that you get rid of them is you hit empty trash. That gets rid of everything forever. So just want to remind you, I kind of like to hold on to trash because honestly, we have unlimited storage. If you're wondering about how much storage we have, if you have a regular Gmail account, that means you have a regular Google Drive account, and you'll see how much you have left. On our WCC USD accounts, it says storage, and it just tells you how much you used, which is awesome. Okay. I hope that answered your question, Victoria. Oh, thanks, Clifford. Let's see. All right. I think we're good. I'm gonna pop over to the next thing. Janet, can you email me please about Gmail that you want more on Gmail? Because like I said, I'm working on that myself.
Do you need me to sorry.
I think everyone's done. Everyone looks like they're pretty much
done.
Oh, this is cool.
I think they are.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording then and just scoot out of here because I gotta go help another group of people.
All right. You don't need the transcript for the chat. It's automatically
It's
recorded.
all saved already. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
All right, everyone. I'm gonna go.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
You
Woo!
too.